Good evening, viewers. Dr. Natasha from Lifeline Hospitals, and welcome to one more edition of Lifeline and HDgtl's anti-COVID response webinar. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our panelists from India, from the US, and from the Middle East. I will start by introducing Dr. Rajkumar. Is he there? He has not yet arrived. All right. So I will go on, and please allow me to introduce Mr. Rajkumar Nair. Welcome, sir, to the show. Mr. Raghu, you're muted. Yeah. Mr. Rajkumar Nair is a very leading light in the construction and real estate sector, and he's based out of Trivandrum. And he holds many wonderful public posts. And he's the convener general and past vice president of the CREDAI, as well as he also holds various other key positions, such as the president of the Trivandrum Chamber of Commerce and Industry, TCCI. He's also a member of the Zonal Advisory Board of LIC, Vice President of the Kerala Olympic Association, Secretary of the Kerala Golf Federation, and many more. Thank you, Mr. Rajkumar, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you in a moment as soon as I introduce other panelists. Thank you once again. Let me also introduce Mr. Madhu Balkrishnan. Not there. Okay, and Anant is going to introduce. Yeah. Right. Dr. Rajkumar, Dr.
Trini.
Let me also introduce Ms. Brinda. Right. So Brinda Parmeshwaran is a very leading yoga trainer, meditation trainer, and therapist. She's a beauty pageant trainer based at Kerala, India. You're at Cochin, right, Brinda? You're muted. Can you unmute? Right. While she does that.
Okay.
Yes, you are. Okay. So she's very experienced in yoga, meditation techniques, breathing exercise, and mudras, and is part of a very distinguished yoga panel. And she told us that her specialty is anti-stress. Is that right, Brinda?
Yes.
Right. Welcome to the show, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Doctor.
I will now switch over to you, Anand, so that you can introduce the US panel as well.
Yeah, sure. There's one more illustrious gentleman out there in India.
Right. Okay. I think let me get that.
Srini.
All right. So yeah, you finish your thing. I'll come back to that, Anand.
Okay, no problem. So let me start with Dr. Parimal Barucha. He's here right in California at the forefront of the COVID battle. He is an intensivist, ICU specialist, pulmonary area is his specialization. And he's been seeing a lot of the COVID cases and the post-COVID cases as well now. Very busy in the ICU. We are glad that you have joined us, Dr. Parimal Barucha. Spotlight on Parimal, please.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. And then we have Srijit again from California here. Srijit works for a cloud organization, handles the partnerships there. He is the president of the Malayali Association of Northern California, Manka, and very active in the social support space as well. Welcome, Srijit. Thanks for joining us. You're on mute. And then we have Sri Krishnan. Sri, spotlight on Sri, please. Sri works in the Bay Area again. He is associated with Kaiser, and he's a leading singer in the Bay Area. Represents a singing group called San Francisco SFO Vanambadis, which is headed by a good friend of ours, Ramesh, and then his team, Daya, and others. Welcome to the program, Sri. And then we have Shubha Rajesh, a teacher by background. Spotlight on Shubha, please. A teacher by background, part of a business family here in California, and part of the SFO Vanambadis group as well. Thanks for joining us, Shubha. And we will have Madhu Balakrishnan join us. I will make the introduction once he joins. Over to you, Natesh, to introduce Srini and then get started.
Yes, thank you, Anand. Let me also introduce, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there was a glitch in my Google Sheet. Right, Mr. Srini Nalagandla. Can I have the spotlight there? Hi, Srini. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me give you a brief introduction. His introduction is very long, but I will make it as brief as possible. Right. He's the managing director of High Places International, which is based out of India, and he's got offices at USA and Australia. And it is an executive search consulting firm that addresses leadership positions in global markets. Right, Srini?
Yes.
And he lives at Chennai and also travels very frequently to London and New Jersey. And very, very interestingly, he writes a lot of satire, humor, and he has been a significant contributor to the Economic Times, being a columnist earlier. He has recently written a book called Coronavirus and Global Love, about which we will hear his comments a little later. Thank you very much once again, and welcome to the program, Shane.
Thanks for including me. Thank you.
Absolutely. So the first question, let me start by asking, I think since Dr. Rajkumar is not there, Mr. Raghuchandran, can I have the spotlight on him, please? Mr. Raghuchandran, can I have the spotlight, Amit? Okay. Yeah. So, can you hear me, Mr. Raghuchandran?
He's on mute, Natesh.
Mr. Raghuchandran, you're on mute. Can you unmute, please? Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the situation of the COVID-19? You know, all of us are going through this pandemic, wreaking havoc all around the world. But we know that Kerala in India has been an example of handling the COVID crisis. So, from your side, what did Kerala do differently from the rest of India, Mr.
I think there's nothing which you need to be surprised about. But Kerala always has been the forefront of literacy and also in the health front. We have always been in the forefront in the health. So as far as this is concerned, people in Kerala are much more aware about the health problems and health related issues. So they were very much prepared. So normally when you have this sort of issues coming up, people keep abreast with the information which is available coming either through the media or also keeping abreast with whatever information they get from the Google or probably from whatever you see in whatever information they gather from any other place. So what happens is that they get into action very fast. And Kerala government is proactive in these matters. You know, the first thing they did is they realized that what is happening in Wuhan, and having a lot of people going to Wuhan and coming back. So they were quite clear because a lot of our things are sourced from Wuhan also, and we were very clear. So the first thing the government did was to clamp on the people movement. You know, the first thing they did is in fact, that evening when the chief minister said we are closing down for a week. Subsequently, within an hour, the PM Modi came on the line and said we are closing till April 14th. So we were the first to declare that we are closing the borders, and we were the first to declare that we are closing down, and lockdown came in. And the people, as usual, Kerala is a law-abiding people, except maybe in Kerala they may not be. But you see, Kerala, when they go all over the world, they're much more law-abiding than anybody. So they were really falling in place, and the thing really worked. And people stayed at home, and the government was on action, and they were locating and isolating people who were falling sick, and they were doing all the necessary. And the medical team is superb. The government has done a good job. The health minister has taken up the lead in bringing a team up, and all the doctors and nurses, paramedical staff has done wonderful jobs. And we are really proud that, that because of this COVID, Kerala found to be mentioned in the world map. We were not known. All the time, Kerala is a relatively less known state as far as we are concerned, maybe for tourism. But now we are known actually on the medical side also. We are much known now. And Kerala has done a wonderful thing. And Kerala government is taking, this happened. We had a Nipah virus problem. We took care of that. And we have the dengue issue that also is taken care of. So COVID we got a lowest mortality rate now. And we have, in fact, I think this is something which we should be proud that, we were able to contain it. Except that now we are having people coming in from all over the world. And also state, and we are now doing quarantine. Things are happening now.
Absolutely. Wonderful job. Thank you very much for that. Anant, over to you, Anant, for the next question.
Yeah, sure. So Dr. Parimal Barucha, this is for you. So you have been at the forefront of the pandemic response here in California. What are you seeing in the ICU here, and what is very specific about what you're seeing with COVID-19 in the ICU?
So first of all, thank you for having me. And that's a very good question. So COVID usually presents, the common symptoms are common everywhere. I mean, as we know, COVID doesn't follow any rules whatsoever. It's the most notorious virus that we have seen so far. It does not believe in gender, or poor you are, does not believe in any country-specific boundaries. So 80% of the patients will present with symptoms of fever, cough, shortness of breath. However, when I get involved, it's usually the badness. Those 20% of patients who end up in the hospital, 5% will come under my care. So these patients are really very fragile, very sick. Usually they will have multi-organ failure. We have had actually the first case of community spread in United States. That was in Northern California, 10 miles from where I live. And since then, we have had many patients without travel history, which is called community spread. And all these patients, they end up on the ventilator, long length of stay. In United States, if your length of stay is more than 3 days, it's considered very long. And this patient stay in the hospital for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. One of the first patients who actually survived after being on ventilator for 3 weeks was under my care, and that is also reported now. So usually we have to go way beyond our normal care. It takes a village. It takes multiple manpowers to take care of these patients. Multiple organ failure, as I said, they might end up on dialysis. We have to make them flip on their belly for almost 18 hours so that their oxygenation can improve, which is now considered one of the most important treatment to put them on their belly. So, they get very sick. The normal treatments that we do on a patient who is on a ventilator doesn't work. The ventilator strategies are different. And I think the reason why that is different is it is well known now that these patients are very prone in forming microclots. What that means is that the blood vessels in your body gets thrombosed or gets clotted. That can give rise to strokes. As we have seen in New York, a lot of young patients have ended up in stroke.
Right.
Or if the blood clot happens in the blood vessels of the heart, they can have a heart attack. Same way when they have blood clots in the lungs, they have lung attacks, or it's called pulmonary embolism. Absolutely. So when you have that, no matter how much ventilator input you have, it does not really work. And you have to give them very, very high doses of sedation, medications to paralyze them. And actually, even though we did not hit the surge, we ended up critically low on all these important medications. So, it is creating a lot of havoc. But luckily, Governor Newsom declared state of emergency very early and put a shelter in place. So what we see now is instead of 100 patients come at one time, which is surge and overwhelming the system, we have patients like 4 or 5 patients trickling in every day. But that is still manageable because they're not overwhelming the healthcare at the same time. So
Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that input, Parimal. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Natesh.
Thank you, Dr. Parimal. This question I would like to direct towards Brinda Parameswaran. Can I have her on the spotlight, please? Brinda? Yeah. Hi, Brinda. So, can you hear me? Yeah. Can you unmute, please? You're on mute.
Okay then.
Yeah,
Now it's clear now?
yeah, you can hear. Right. So, this pandemic has been wreaking havoc around. One of the main drawbacks, or one of the main symptoms, and one of the main problems everyone throughout the world has been facing is because of the lockdown, they're all at home, and that's given rise to a lot of anxiety and stress. Right. As a yoga teacher, what would you advocate to overcome that?
Okay, I will say this is the best time we can prepare ourselves to become stronger and healthier. Okay, and we can achieve our goals.
Right.
To become stronger, we have to make our immune system better.
Right.
If we are weak, we are more. There is more chance for us to get affected by diseases.
Absolutely.
Okay.
True.
And yoga is one of the most effective natural immunity booster.
Right.
Okay. And regular yoga practice can help you to lead a disease-free and a stress-free life.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the yoga postures is only a very small part of yoga. The main part is breathing exercises, meditation, and mudras. Okay. All of us are breathing always, but only very few are breathing properly.
Right.
Okay. When we are inhaling, actually our stomach has to bulge out, and when we are exhaling, stomach has to contract. But the case is, most people, when they are inhaling, their stomach is contracting, and we have to make our breathing correct. By practice, we can make it correct. Okay.
Wonderful.
And the 70% of the toxins in our body are releasing through our body through breathing. And when we are breathing correctly only, we can make these toxins flushing out from our body.
Right. Right. Thank you. So,
Okay.
yeah. So you're right. Actually, I tried breathing in, and it looks like I'm pulling my stomach in, and like you said, it's not the right way to do it. So I look forward to learning more from you, Brenda. Meanwhile, let me welcome Dr. Rajkumar here. Hi, Raj. He's in Dubai at the moment. Spotlight. Yeah. Thank you very much. I know you're very busy, but thank you for joining us. And for all of viewers, many of you, I'm sure 99% will know. For the 1% who don't know, Dr. Rajkumar is world famous. He's a surgical gastroenterologist. Got many world first to his name. Brilliant and visionary laparoscopic and minimally invasive surgeon, bariatric surgeon, chairman of the Lifeline group, for which I'm also part of. So with that, we welcome you, Raj. And the first question to Raj is, we know, Raj, that you're fighting a very important role there. In Dubai, along with the Indian Embassy, you've been in the forefront of fighting. So can you tell us, I also know that you're a fitness freak. So how do you manage this during this period of lockdown at the UAE? Can you also just say a bit about how fitness is important in this scenario, and how you've been managing?
I think I've been telling everybody, like this famous movie, The Mummy. The Mummy returns, the dummy returns is happening to everybody. It's the major issue. So I think the combination of what we do here is we do at least 30 to 40 minutes of yoga straight off the net, because we're not like Brinda, we can't work it ourselves. So we just get it off the YouTube. So 30 to 40 minutes of yoga. And I'm telling all my patients this also.
Right.
And 30 to 40 minutes of a run. As you know, I usually like to pump iron and stuff like that, but all the gyms in UAE are completely closed. And there's no way you can get to a weight set or a Murray machine or whatever.
Right.
So just running and yoga is what I'm doing. But I think there's, at least I'm finding a lot of people, after the lockdown has been partially opened out, doing long walks in Dubai. And with the heat here, doing a long walk or a run here, it's like doing it with hot yoga, Murray, because the temperature is so much higher.
Right.
That's one part of what you were asking. That's just, like Dr. Barucha, like Dr. Parimal Barucha said. Here also we are finding the same thing, that the back part of the lungs, we're allowing them to open out by putting patients, flipping them forward and breathing them in the prone position. Honestly, more than hydroxychloroquine, more than ivermectin or azithromycin or tocilizumab, more than all these, probably the best thing that has emerged in the last couple of months is simply putting people on that prone position, even for moderate diseases, even waiting for that to get severe. And also in some patients, we've started anticoagulating, like he said. But it looks like we're all waiting for the curve to flatten. It's undoubtedly that the chart going up is has become a little less, a smaller angle, more acute angle, and away from the perpendicular that it was first doing, but it's not yet actually flattened. And I think,
right.
How many more? Here I was talking to a few epidemiologists and in the Dubai Health Authority, and they were saying that this might they're anticipating 500,000 to 1 million deaths overall before the down curve starts, and we're already close to just a little short of 350,000.
Right. Thank you very much.
That's where we are. That's about fitness, yoga, and flipping them pro. And I know there are a lot of people here, so I'm going to be very, very quick and do like a rapid fire so that everybody can get a little bit in. Keep going, Nat. Keep going, Anant.
Thank you very much. And Anant, I think I would leave you to introduce Mr. Madhu, who has joined in.
Yeah. So to everyone, we have our good friend Madhu Balakrishnan on the live cast now. Spotlight on Madhu, please. So welcome, Madhu. I know
Namaskaram to all.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So welcome, Madhu.
My namaskaram to all, and glad to see you all here.
Yeah, thank you, Madhu.
Thank you.
So Madhu is a leading singer in Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, and Telugu. He's a very good friend of mine as well. Wonderful person to interact, and as many of you would know, several awards from the Tamil Nadu government and from the Kerala government. And from Tamil Nadu, he has the title conferred on him, which is Kalai Mamani. And I do believe, Madhu, that you have an honorary doctorate given to you from the US as well, right?
Yes.
So it's now Dr. Madhu.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I know that you're constrained on time because of some domestic challenges. So we will make sure that we let you off as quickly as we can.
Thank you.
So a few questions for you. Nitesh, do you want to start with one of the questions for Madhu, please?
Yes. First, I would like to thank you for joining us, because I know you have some domestic challenges like Anand just mentioned. In spite of that, thank you. And we pray for your father-in-law. And
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining it. So the question is, how have you stayed motivated, Madhu, during all these tough times, right? How have you managed your exercises, your diet? Anand talks a lot about your breath control. So can you enlighten us a bit about that? Yes.
Actually, we were in our Tripunithura house, Cochin house, for 1.5 months.
Right.
And after that, we went to Chalakudi, where my mother and my brother, they are staying there only.
Right.
And in Tripunithura house, we actually I was playing with my kids and doing some exercises. I was not regular in my exercises, and or during this Corona season, this lockdown season, I could do very regularly my exercises, and I had a very good chance to listen other musics, other other style of music. And we used to watch some movies which I couldn't see before, and after going to Chalakudi, we had some more activities like badminton. And my kids, our kids also, they were also enjoying there very much. Right. And there is a river very near to our Chalakudi house, and we could we swim daily.
Right.
And my neighbor, we are having one horse, not in my house. Our neighbor is having one horse there.
Right.
And just we were riding horse in the compound itself.
Right.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great.
Wonderful.
Anand, go on, Anand. I'll leave the next question to you.
Yeah, sure. So Madhu, a quick question for you. So we know that you love traveling, you love going on planes. What is the reason for that?
From my childhood days, I would like to see flights. I was born in Paravur, place in Kochi. My maternal home is Parur. Is at Parur, and I used to. I could hear a lot of flight. I could see a lot of flights there. I used to see. I was watching flights always there because the this naval base and Cochin Airport was very close to that place, and there were some pilot training and air patrolling, and from my childhood days I was always watching flights
Right.
and and actually I like to fly regular. I used to fly regular because of my profession is like that only. I have to travel a lot.
Yeah, so that's Madhu sky hopping a lot based on what he sees, and that's a reality as well. So before we go to the next panelist, just one request to Madhu. So Madhu, we have coronavirus affecting everyone so badly. So with your golden voice, can you give us a few lines from an invocation, either to Lord Dhanvantri or to Lord Guru Ayyappan, please?
Sure. I'll sing some lines from Narayaniyam.
Okay, sure. Spotlight on Madhu, please.
Yogindranam twadangeshwadhika sumadhuram muktibhajam nivaso bhaktanam kamavashadyutarukisalayam nath te padamulam nityam chittasthitham me pavanapurapate Krishna karunya sindho krutva nisheshatapan pratishatu paramananda sandoha lakshmi pratishatu paramananda sandoha lakshmi ajñātvā te mahatvam yadiha nigaditam vishwanādha kshametha stotram chaitat sahasrottaram adhikataram tvatprasadaya bhūyā dvedha narayaniyam shrutishu cha janusha stutyada varnanena spitam leelavatarairidamiha kuruta ayurarogya saukyam ayurarogya saukyam.
Thanks a lot, Madhu.
Fantastic. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Anand,
Over to you, Nitish.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So we would require some more time from Mr. Madhu, and he's got little time here. So we will shift quickly and come back to him also. So meanwhile, let me talk to Mr. Srini. Can I have the spotlight on Mr. Srini, please? Spotlight. Yeah. Mr. Srini, you wrote recently a book on coronavirus and global love. Can you tell us the story behind it briefly?
In March, when this pandemic started its peak journey, like all, I also got a little bit depressed and down. When you're locked down, you're bound to be there. And so then I figured out that the best way to cheer up yourself is cheer up everyone else in the world. And then, so I had earlier the experience of writing humor columns for Economic Times. And so the cartoonist, Mr. Salam of Economic Times, he also got locked down in Noida, separated from his family in Delhi, just about 50 kilometers away, but then they can't see each other. So we decided to exploit it by started writing. And then he was drawing for me. And then, so around the same time, a lot of people from all over the world were calling us and inquiring, hey, how are you doing? How is India? And, it's kind of I felt that the coronavirus brought the, whole humanity together. This event itself is very good testimony for that. We are across the world, we are actually caring for each other. Absolutely. So that's why I felt that coronavirus has produced global love. And then I started writing, and then this actually signifies the people were hilariously calling each other and then alerting each other, so amidst all your doctors, I am the quack here. I felt laughter is the best medicine, which can be sent across the borders without tariffs and tantrums. And you don't need to really debate whether you need to administer to oral or IVs, but simply give it to Kindle edition or a paperback, and then goes to 200 countries now. Coronavirus is spread in 200 countries. Kindle is there in almost in every country, and then so it's the inspiration actually came from doctors, and then so I dedicated the book to the doctors and the frontline warriors. I remember the story in Bhopal. One doctor was coming back from the hospital. He was living in the car for nearly, all through, because he wouldn't go into his home, and he would take bath from the roadside tap and then go back. So the medical community are much bigger than the regular armed forces or the warriors. They are at risk. Their families at risk. So I felt this book is meant to cheer up anyone who is under stress, quarantine, lockdown. And my usual target segment in the book is all the guys who are harassing us, whether it could be NRIs or software engineers or the HR folks or the executives or the, you name it, all those regular segments in the society I will lampoon, and I'm sure that people will like it. This is meant to cheer up the world, and so I'm just trying to supply tiny dose of medicine as a laughter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srini. As a doctor, let me thank you first of all for dedicating the book to all doctors. Thank you so much. And as you speak, I can see the satire and humor, and I look forward to reading this book. Certainly.
Thank you.
And Anant, over to you. I think you have to bring in Shubha and Sri as well.
Yeah. Hi, Shubha. Welcome to the program. And you're based in California, and I know that you had the experience of getting into an evacuation flight from Chennai to California, arranged by the US government. What did you go through during that experience?
Well, thank you, and good morning to everyone from California. It's morning for us. Yes, I was actually in India when the lockdown happened, and I was scheduled to leave India on the 26th of March if things were normal, but then things weren't. And then, so I had to register with the Department of State. Within a week of registering with them, I got a call back saying, on the day of the flight at 10 o'clock, they said, can you show up at the airport at 1? And I did, because I didn't want to be stranded forever. So I got on the flight. We actually were outside of the Chennai airport, not even inside the airport, outside of the airport for almost 4 hours with paperwork. And they had us sign promissory notes for the ticket. I still haven't paid for my ticket. Then I didn't know what flight I was going to be on. All I knew was I was going to get to San Francisco on a direct flight via Delhi. So there was one stop. I was worried about getting stranded in Delhi because I have no one there, no family. But then it was a smooth flight, thankfully. I got home safe, and all the passengers were on high alert and they were all wearing masks, and we all try to make our movements minimal, no bathroom breaks, nobody huddling near the restrooms on the flight. It was a great experience, one that I would remember forever.
Okay.
But I'm glad.
Okay. And can you, okay, so you're a singer here in California, and I know that you regularly participate in programs and SMUL as well. A couple of lines from one of your favorite songs, please, Shubha.
Okay, one of my favorite songs is going to be hard, but I really tried to narrow down something and I tried to match it with my morning voice. Okay, it's an old classic by Sri T.R. Mahalingam. Sillendra pootta siru nerinji kaatinile nillendru koori nirutti vazhi ponale நின்றது போல் நின்றாள் நெடுந்தூரம் பறந்தாள் நிற்குமோவி நிலைக்குமோ நெஞ்சம் மனம் பெறுமோ வாழ்வே ஆ ஆ ஆ செந்தமிழ் தேன் மொழியால் நிலாவென சிரிக்கும் மலர் கொடியாள் நிலாவென சிரிக்கும் மலர் கொடியாள் பைங்கனி இதழில் பழரசம் தருவாள் பருகிட தலை குனிவாள் காற்றினில் மிதந்தவளோ புதிதாய் கற்பனை வடித்தவளோ சேற்றில் மலர்ந்த செந்தாமரையோ செவ்வந்தி பூச்சரமோ அவள் செந்தமிழ் தேன் மொழியாள் நிலாவென சிரிக்கும் மலர் கொடியாள் நிலாவென சிரிக்கும் மலர் கொடியாள் பைங்கனி இதழில் பழரசம் தருவாள் பருகிட தலை குனிவாள். Thank you.
Thanks,
Super.
Shiva. Over to
Very
you.
nice.
Excellent, excellent.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes, brilliant. Anant, I think you should bring in Sri first and then back to Madhu for a couple of more songs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, Sri Krishnan, you are a singer, you're a technology person as well here in the Bay Area. So what do you have as a couple of messages for the Bay Area on your experience in the coronavirus times? And can you sing a few lines from one of your favorite songs?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here in the midst of all these amazing people. So it's been a tough time working from home most of the time. We have been stuck here for more than 2.5 months now. It's a blessing in disguise, I should say, because we get to spend a lot of time with the family as well. The kids have their classes. Usually I have to shuttle back and forth for their different classes, music and math and all that. So pretty much everything is happening virtually these days. So we also get to spend a lot of time at home during the weekend. That's the blessing. But I hope this ends soon, because I already see, like, now we were all together. Now everybody is picking corners in the house. There's a lot of mobile and internet time going on. So I think we should get back to the normalcy soon.
Excellent, excellent. A few lines from one of your favorite numbers, please.
Since Madhu Balakrishnan sir is there, I wanted to sing one of my favorites of Madhu Balakrishnan sir. This is from the movie Pitamakan. I'll start with the humming, which actually is from a different song, but I'll switch to this song. பிறையே வளரும் பிறையே இது நல்வரவே மலரே மலரே மலர்ந்தாய் மலரே உனக்கே தருவே பயணம் எவர்க்கும் இங்கு முடியும் இங்கு பிறந்தாயோ உதயம் உனக்கும் இங்கு தொடக்கம் விழிகள் திறந்தாயோ பிறையே பிறையே வளரும் பிறையே இது நல்வரவே.
Excellent,
super.
Excellent,
Oh, sorry.
excellent, excellent.
Brilliant.
Excellent,
That was
excellent.
very, very good. Very,
Super,
very
Krishna sir. Super.
Thank you.
Anand, go on.
Yeah, so
bring in Madhu, please.
yeah, spotlight to Madhu, please. So Madhu, we know that you are completing your 25th year in singing.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a big round of applause for Madhu, please.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you.
God
So
bless.
much. Thank you so much.
And I have a question. So I know you started singing pretty early, started in Malayalam and then got
No,
into Tamil.
actually started in Tamil.
Oh, really? I see. Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
my first film is Udavathurai, Vijaykanth
Udavathurai.
movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was a duet with Chitra Chechi, and I'm very lucky to I'm very lucky to got that song, to sing that song.
Wonderful. Can you give us a few lines from that song? Your first song
definitely.
must be very memorable to you. Yeah.
Sure. உள்ளத்தை திறந்து உண்மையை சொல்லுகிறேன், உனது முகத்தில் விழுத்து எழுந்து உலகை வெல்லுகிறேன், ஆனந்த குங்குமம் சூடும் முல்லை, நீ ஒரு தெய்வத்தின் பிள்ளை, அன்புள்ள மனைவி வந்தால் நானும் ஆலயம் போவது இல்லை, அடி நீ இல்லாமல் தேனும் எனக்கு தித்திக்க போவதில்லை.
Excellent. And just that everyone is aware, Madhu recently sang a song around the coronavirus pandemic. And only yesterday that was released on YouTube.
Not only one song, actually I finished eight or nine songs connected with coronavirus.
Okay, and I had the chance to listen to the release yesterday on YouTube. It was shot some time back, but it was released only yesterday on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. So one more question for you, Madhu, before we pass it on to Natesh. So you have sung for the superstar of cinema industry. So that was in one of the big hit movies. And that song still resonates in my ears. And what did you feel like when you sang that song for Superstar? And of course, we want a few lines from that song after you say this.
Actually, that song is composed by Vidyasagar sir. One day, his manager called me and asked me to come next day morning. And I went to Chennai, and I reached the studio. Then they played one song. They played this song, actually, Konja Neram, but the female voice was there. Then he asked me, "Can you recognize this voice, Madhu?" Then I told him that I recognize that voice. Actually, that was Asha Ji's voice, Asha Bhosleji.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I was very, very much excited. And he told me, "This song you have to sing now, and just you have to sweeten your voice like Yeshudas all songs." And he explained the situation and everything. And after that, I have sung that song. I used a husky voice for that song, and that was. And after that only, I understood that was Rajini sir's movie. After finishing that song.
Oh, you didn't know before that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A few lines from that song, please. It's an all-time hit.
Definitely, sure. கொஞ்ச நேரம் கொஞ்சி பேசக்கூடாதா, அந்த நேரம் அந்தி நேரம் அன்பு தூரல் போடாதா, கொஞ்ச நேரம் கொஞ்சி பேசக்கூடாதா, அந்த நேரம் அந்தி நேரம் அன்பு தூரல் போடாதா, கொஞ்சம் நேரம் எல்லை மீறக்கூடாதா, இந்த நேரம் இன்ப நேரம் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நீளாதா.
Wow.
Superb.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Natesh.
Thank you very much, Anant. I mean, it's his voice and his intonation is so good. We feel like listening more. But we have other panelists here, and Anant, I'll just have 2-3 questions for our panelists in India and the Middle East, and then I'll hand it over.
Can you introduce Srijit, please? We have not covered him yet, so if you can just add him and then.
Yes. I'll leave it to you to introduce Srijit. Go ahead and
Srijit. Spotlight on Srijit, please. So Srijit lives here in California, as I said, and he is at the apex of community service, heading MANCA, the Northern Californian Malayali Association. So what is it you guys have been up to during the pandemic, and what is the community service you guys have rendered?
Yeah, thanks, Anand. And first of all, I want to thank Sri Madhu Balakrishnan for the amazing 25 years and the songs that he has given all of us, especially the devotional songs. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot for that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So coming to your question, Anand, sir. Manka, we usually do a lot of events, like physical events that drives anywhere between 500 to even a couple of thousands of people. The first thing we did was we canceled all of our planned events for the foreseeable future and communicated to the community on why we are doing that, and gave them the information that we were able to collect from reliable sources on what they should be doing during this time of social distancing here. We also partnered with a couple of other organizations within the Malayali community and formed a helpline group with a helpline number for anybody to call us for any kind of help during this time of difficulty. And when we started doing that, it was originally planned for healthcare workers if they had any difficulty, anything from even getting groceries to any other supplies that they wanted to even do their job, right? And we did get a couple of calls. We were able to help some of the hospitals here with essentials like masks and things like that with the community support. The other very important thing we have been doing from the initial stages was to provide information and also support in terms of consular services. As you know, one of the biggest Indian consulates in the States is here in San Francisco, where we have over the years established good relationships with. So leveraging that, we are able to support the community in any kind of information or help that they wanted from the consulate. And then more recently, as you know, there are the repatriation or evacuation flights that are going to India from San Francisco. I think we have 4 left so far. There's another one leaving for Kochi actually tonight. So there's a lot of people who have registered. People did not know how to register for that. So passing on that kind of information and also helping the consulate to make sure that they are able to help people who are really in need to get back home. The consulate is also reaching to us to understand the situation of some people and how they can best help. So we are sort of licensing between the people who really are in a desperate situation to go back home and the consulate to make those decisions. So those are some of the things that we're doing, but primarily I think it's about making sure that our community is safe. We are helping as and when they need the help, and then just by being available for them to reach out to us by various means, from WhatsApp groups to our website to phone and so on and so forth.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Srijit. Over to you, Nitish.
Thank you, Srijit, for such nice and very nice to know Manka is doing so much to help the Malayali population there in San Francisco. And I would like the spotlight on Mr. Rajkumar here. Mr. Rajkumar, you lead one of the very big real estate company in India, based at Trivandrum. So what is the situation in the real estate? One of the biggest problems COVID has done is, the real estate is already in a slump, right? And now this has led to much more problems, and migrant workers going back. There seems to be a lot of problems happening in that industry. Could you enlighten us about what is the future of the industry?
Yeah, first and foremost, I need to really be proud to be part of all these panelists who are eminent people. And my old friend Madhu Balakrishnan is still there. In fact, I was also part of a film industry. I produced 3 cinemas during my career.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful. Very nice.
That is Kannadi.
Which movie is that? Was the Malayalam or?
Malayalam movie. Kannadi Puttandu got a national award. Then I did a movie called with Ananda Badram with my college mate Santosh Shivan doing the direction.
Right.
And I did another movie with Mohanlal called Chota Mumbai.
Okay.
And, didn't have the time to go for it. It's all done part of my friends together. We were doing movies. And Madhu used to be an old friend of ours. And there's no doubt.
Well, namaskaram.
And coming to the area where I think is very important as far as Kerala is concerned, and also the country is concerned. You have to understand that the second largest industry in India today is the construction sector after agriculture. But when it comes to Kerala, the largest employer and the largest contributor to the exchequer is the construction industry. And one major factor is that there are only 5 or 6 industries thrive in Kerala. One is IT, one is tourism, one is medical care or healthcare, education, infrastructure, and MSME, and that. Nothing much more. No big industries work here because somehow it doesn't work. That's how Kerala is. But all these are non-polluting industries, and all this requires construction. And for construction, we all are dependent. So real estate is one factor which has been contributing to the growth largely. Now, the factor, what you need to remember is that over the years, as you know, global recession was there, and the market is really down. And before the pre-COVID, and during the COVID, it is affected to a large extent there. But then opportunities started coming in. Now, recently we started finding that that a lot of people have started, like especially NRIs who are basically Malayalis, who are not Malayalis from the other countries, and also from outside the state, NRKs, non-resident Keralites, other states. They have started now inquiring about apartments and houses in Kerala. Somehow they started getting nostalgic coming back home. Maybe I do not know why, but suddenly everybody started asking, is there any? They want to shift their family back. Maybe because after during the COVID era, they found that Kerala is performing well. Indices are showing better. Children are get better protected. Families better protected. So inquiry levels have started going up. But then there is a challenge. The challenge is that we always have been dependent on NRI investments into the real estate, but which has come down over the years. It's come down drastically, and now the local market is going, because the local market purchasing capacity has gone up recently with loans and benefits on taxes and all that. So what we need to know is that the biggest problem in Kerala is that we have a problem is we are basically a consumer state. We depend on everything from outside. That is, except for the quarry materials and including sand, which we have little in place. We have everything. The supply chain comes from outside the state. So there is a challenge. But now I think, with post-COVID, we have now started looking. You see, everything is an opportunity. That is what we always say. What has happened is good. What is happening is for the good. What is going to happen is for the good. So we are going only by theory, and we are hoping that will become practical, and things are falling in place. And we are now finding that, that even the sizes of units have changed. What we used to design earlier may not be the right design now. People have started looking at houses with office space because people have started working out of home now. So they want office space. So things that the requirement levels have changed over the period of time. So these changes, I'm quite sure that, it is definitely going to bring a lot of growth into the sector. Maybe nevertheless, there'll be a slight lull in the beginning because money is not in flow. Cash flows are tight, and people are scared to invest. Everybody wants liquidity in the hand. So everybody is making sure that they don't spend out anything now, because they do not know what is the future is going to be up. So they are holding on to the money. But we are quite sure that there are 3 things people cannot afford to deny or probably afford to miss. One is medicines. Any medical shop is doing business. Pharmaceuticals are doing business. The next comes home. People like to have home, and they always like to buy home. So these two, as long as the world is there, these 2 things have to happen. The third thing is food. Without food, you cannot survive. So these 3 things is what we are saying. Roti, kapada, magan, and all that is right. But we are saying medicine is also very important.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajkumar. Thank you. So, Raj, come in. Please come in.
Hi. I just wanted to add something to what Mr. Sashi said. Since I'm talking to a lot of people here in the construction industry, and even many other people, they want to go back and actually settle in Kerala. Many people have told me in the last few weeks that they're looking forward to going and settling down in a small house by the side of this NH47, that is a national highway in Kerala. Or, I've never heard such a strong volley of thought from the average man saying, I've had enough. I don't want that extra buck. I want to settle in. So, and then obviously there's a huge Kerala and a non-resident Kerala group here. So I think Mr. Sashi is right. They're going to have a lot of inquiries for people to come back and settle in. I just want to say one more thing about Mr. Srijit and Manka. Here there's a big group called KMCC, called Kerala Muslim Cultural Club. Really, I've not seen such selfless work in my life. Amazing. I just want to tell you all this. Priyanka Chopra and Virat Kohli and Hrithik Roshan, Shah Rukh Khan all came together, and I think they collected $1.5 million or something for the whole India. They did something like a big Zoom thing. Remember, I think we were all talking about
Yeah.
These guys, for the last 2 months, have been contributing that sum on a weekly basis.
Wow.
You know, they were actually looking and saying, sir, they can, each one of those people could have just given 5 crore and been done with it, instead of getting together, doing a show and collecting 8 crore or 9 crore. These chaps are pumping in 10 crores every week for the last 8-9 weeks, and maybe even more. And it's just coming and coming and coming. And I think one nice thing is they look at it as a spirit of Ramadan. But the service is so selfless. I'm seeing money being poured into the market by these people. And they're only quoting one thing. They're saying, you're doing it because God wants us to do it. There's no pressure from the government making them do it. Like Manka in California, here it's called the KMCC. They're outstanding. I just want to, place this on record that, contribution.
Excellent, Raj.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure Srijit will be very happy and to hear that. And I'm sure he's in touch with that people also. And also, the CEO of SI Properties, Mr. Raghuchandran Nair, Raj. I think you refer to him as Mr. Sashi. Is Raghuchandran Nair. Yeah. Okay. So, Raj, while we're talking to you, there is one question for you from a platform called MFine, right? Which is a telemedicine platform whom we associate with. So there is a direct question about, if someone in my apartment has had coronavirus and has come back after recovery, is there a chance he can spread the virus to anyone else or get it again later on?
Please ask them to find out who this guy is and to go and stick close to him, because the least chance of getting it is by being close to such a guy. So I want to tell the public that for a varying period of 1 to 3 years, the IgG antibodies that are produced in response to this, it's almost like they've undergone a successful vaccination. And if anything, these are the safest guys to be with, provided there are 2 negative swabs. What happens is, many people talked about in Korea, people getting it again. Sometimes one swab doesn't pick up the bacteria, the viruses, and then the second swab comes back as positive. So 2 swabs are negative. Your man is safe. You can stick to him. Please.
Fantastic.
Don't everybody.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Anand, over to you to bring in Madhu again. I think he has to quickly.
Yeah. So Madhu, I think we are very cognizant of the fact that you need to leave. So a couple of questions for you, maybe 1 or 2 from the audience. So it's always a privilege to sing where the music is rendered by Isaignani. So you had one such great experience, I know, in the movie Nan Kadavul. So what did you go through when you sang for Isaignani? And a few lines from that song, please.
Actually, this is a little pathos song, and he told me, don't apply more sadness in that. Just sing as you in a flow, and I just sang like that only. And actually, the other song, Om Shivoham, was the hit in that film. And this song also, most of the people like this song. Ichai Patram Endi Vande. And actually, Raja sir, he already sang it in one Tirukural project before.
Okay.
Yeah. And for this film, he took that film, took that song again, and he made me to sing that song. And that is sure. Ichai Patiram Endi Vande Ayyane Ayyane Yamoru Pichai Patiram Endi Vande Ayyane Ayyane Pindam Ennum Ilumbodu Sadai Narambudiramum Adangiya Udambu Enum Pichai Patiram Endi Vande Ayyane Ayyane.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
One last one. Om Shivoham.
Oh, Om Shivam is not sung by me. That was sung by Vijay Prakash, actually.
But you sing it anyway for us.
Yeah, I can sing, but I have to take the lyrics.
Okay.
1 minute. You
Sure,
can talk to someone.
Okay. While he's taking the lyrics, Anand.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I will like to bring in Brinda to ask one question, which we have had this question over and over in our shows. Brinda, depression, right? In this time, depression is a major factor, in many people's minds. So how will asanas or how do you meditations? What do you suggest? And you have personal experience. Your area of expertise is depression, right? So
Yes,
how will that help, and what do you suggest?
Okay. For depression, I recommend different types of meditation techniques, mudras and breathing exercises. Okay. And
Yes, please.
And the meditation techniques, I am not doing the same meditation technique to all people. They have to do the different meditation techniques, mudras and breathing exercises to different people.
Right.
Okay. And mudras are very, very effective. And that these are some hand gestures everyone can do.
Okay.
Our human body consists of 5 elements, and these 5 elements have to be in equilibrium. Right. And if there is any imbalance in any of these elements, that causes several diseases.
Right.
And this mudras helps us to maintain the balance of the elements. Okay. And I will share with you a very, very effective mudra. I will say it is a magical mudra. That is very effective for most of the cases. And some people, when they are climbing the stairs, they are panting. And when you feel low of energy, and when you have cramps, and when you have numbness in any part of the body. And nowadays, people are mostly using mobiles and computers, and they have more strain in our eyes also.
Right.
In that case also, you can apply this. I will show you this mudra. It is very simple to do. And you have to hold the tips of the small finger, ring finger, and thumb in both the palms. Okay. And you have to keep the other finger stretched.
Okay.
You don't have to give too much pressure.
Okay.
Just touch the tips of the fingers.
Right.
Within few minutes, you can feel the flow of energy.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I can feel it.
It's very, very effective.
Okay.
And when those people who have short breath also can practice this. And there are so many mudras that we can have the help at the tip of the fingers.
So how long do you suggest we do this? How long do you think we should do it?
I recommend you do this mudra at least for 5 minutes twice a day.
Okay, 5 minutes twice a day.
It's very effective.
Wonderful.
This is called, the name is called Prana Mudra.
All right. Okay.
And it gives sudden results also, these mudras.
Okay.
And for ear pain, for sounds, for voice also. There are so many mudras for that. To improve the sound, like that also.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm sure you are very, very happy to see that. A very good piece of advice there. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think there's some voice coming from somebody. Request.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we bring in Madhu, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I got. Thanks, Brinda, for that. I'll pass it on to Madhu now. Madhu, please.
Yes. I got the lyrics here. Shall I sing?
Yes. Please. Yeah.
Om Shivoham, Om Shivoham, Rudranamam Bhajeham, Bhajeham. Om Shivoham, Om Shivoham, Rudranamam Bhajeham, Veerabhadraya Agninetraya Ghora Samharaka, Sakala Lokaya Sarvabhutaya Satya Sakshatkara, Shambho Shambho Shankara, Om Shivoham, Om Shivoham, Rudranamam Bhajeham, Bhajeham.
Wonder, that was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
So that was for you, Raj. So we cannot leave Madhu with one of his signatures. Madhu is known for his amazing breath control when he sings, and it's so amazing that I would request him to just give a small sample of that breath control when he sings Hari Murali Ravam.
Wow.
Please,
Sure.
Madhu, over to you.
Harimuralidavam Haritavrindavanam Pranaya Sudhamaya Mohanaganam Harimuralidavam Haritavrindavanam Pranaya Sudhamaya Mohana Ganam Harimuralidavam 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 മധുമൊഴി രാധേ നിന്നെ തേടി
Wow.
Goodness.
Wow.
This was the place.
Oh, wonderful. Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing, Madhu. So thanks so much for joining us. I know you need to
I have to go to the
and
hospital.
attend to your father-in-law. So my best wishes to uncle and your family.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
I will speak to you soon, Madhu. Thanks and all the best.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Once again.
Thank you.
Glad to meet
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you for joining.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, it was wonderful. The singing was awesome there. So I would like to bring in Dr. Parimal at this point. Dr. Parimal?
Spotlight on
Dr. Parimal. You're muted, Dr. Parimal. Yeah. So, I mean, in the last couple of months, you must have been very busy in the ICU, I'm very sure, right? Like you said, a large number, a certain percentage of your patients went into complications and stuff. And you must have been, running around a lot. And how did you manage this much of energy and strength? What did you do to keep your fitness levels and your activity levels?
Off record, when we get a sick patient, it's actually like we are on meth. We are like all excited and running around. But then comes a moment when you sit down and you try and debrief. So as we know, coronavirus, the name corona means crown.
Right.
It's a beautiful virus. I mean, it's amazing, colorful. It's one of the beautiful things that you will see.
Right.
But looks can be very deceptive.
Okay.
So we say that do not judge a book by the cover. So yes, do not judge a virus that, oh my God, it's so pretty, let's get it. No, never get it, because when you will open the book, you will see that, oh man, there are like all these volumes of disasters that have been written down. So yes, and we all know that it is not going to go away anytime soon. So it is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right.
So very important that we keep ourselves physically and mentally fit. Physically fit, everybody has said, eat well, sleep well, do yoga, which Brinda, thank you for being here today. And as Dr. Rajkumar said, exercise is very important. Go take walks, run. Don't let your tummy come back, because last time we had heard, that abdominal obesity is one of the risk factors for getting coronavirus or to have bad outcomes. So what I do is that I'm a very social butterfly, I would say myself. I like to chat a lot and be socially active. So I don't like the word social distancing. It is actually physical distancing that we have to maintain while we still stay socially connected with our loved ones. What has happened is everything has gone online. So we have had multiple Zoom dinners and Zoom dessert, and now we have enrolled ourselves for cooking club. So once a week you do cooking lessons when you have time, or you can do Zumba and Pilates with your wife, which usually the guys don't like to go, and this is the time that you hang out with your wife in the background. So those are all the things that will keep you socially connected and keep you active and happy. But it is very important that we take a few points in mind and be realistic. There are a few things that we cannot control, and so we should stop focusing on them.
Right.
This is for everybody out there. Like, let's stop predicting what will happen. It's not in our hands.
Right.
How long this will last, who knows?
Absolutely.
Why do we need to worry about the toilet paper on the shelves in the store? So let's forget about all those things. What we can focus on would be positive attitude, maintain your kindness, maintain your gratitude, as we have been talking about Manka and the KMCC. They are doing fantastic job. They are doing selfless job. They are maintaining their gratitude.
Absolutely.
So let's do that. And as a medical professional, what we can do is that on the social media, we should stop spreading articles that is just going to create more panic and more fear. So that we can do. We should also be aware of something called secondary trauma. Secondary trauma is going to become very important in this era, and not only for the families, but also for the healthcare workers, because healthcare workers actually also go through something called survivor guilt, or something called moral grief, because you have to make decisions about scarce resources. Who do you provide these resources to, and who do you not provide them?
Absolutely.
Or sometimes that, when you have a cardiac arrest, the normal thing would be that as soon as there is an overhead page, we all run in and jump, and everybody assumes their role. But now it is not so. If there is cardiac arrest in a patient with COVID or suspected of COVID,
absolutely,
we do have to protect ourselves. We have to wear all the protective equipment. That takes time. So there is always a survival guilt that, oh, maybe if we could have been there 7 minutes earlier, maybe we could have saved the patient. So, something that when you debrief, it's very important that as a healthcare worker and as families, we do debrief as to what happened and what we should do, because nobody here is going to injure anybody else. It is the virus. We are all in this together. Even as a healthcare worker, at the end of the day, we are human beings.
Absolutely.
We have the same emotions that you have as a normal person, as a loved one. I have my family. My parents are elderly. They are not immune to this. They are at high risk. So, for general public, something to know is that yes, at the end of the day, we are human beings. The only difference is we are on the other side of the bed, but we can be on the other side of the bed in a moment. So
thank you very much, Dr. Parimal, for that. Thank you so much. Anand, before I switch over to you, I'll just ask a quick question to Dr. Rajkumar. This has come through the MFINE platform. They say, Raj, telemedicine in this era and post-COVID, telemedicine is going to play a very important role. What do you think? What are your thoughts about this?
Undoubtedly, just as people are talking about physical distancing, but socializing, Parimal was just talking about it. So if you want to be physically distant from a doctor, but you still want his opinion, the answer is telemedicine. I think telemedicine, telediagnostics are going to really boom in the post-COVID era, in the new normal. And I think that for many conditions, like say, for example, in Dubai, almost all homeopathy is now being done telemedicine. Almost all dermatology, except, Dubai is a world center for injecting Botox and whatnot to get rid of your wrinkles. That can't be done through telemedicine, but everything else, all rashes and patches and pimples and whatnot and warts are being taken care of through telemedicine. I agree with you that in the future, we should try to avoid getting people unnecessarily into hospitals, except if they're going to have, say, a surgery, for example. And it's perfectly conceivable, even here. I've seen a few patients with small hernias, for example. I assured them that there was not, at New York Times Square, and the people have in their bedroom, from their bedroom, shown me their groin swellings, and then we fixed up, done their preoperative tests, and I've just seen them on the morning and then operated. So that's going to be a recurrent theme hereafter. I would accept your point that is going to be the defining change, medical change of this new era.
Wonderful. Thank you, Raj, for that, because I agree with you, and we are definitely going to an era of digital healthcare rather than the traditional brick and mortar. Though it's not going to be replaced, it's going to be more of a hybrid model with more emphasis on digital. Over to you, Anand.
Yeah, sure. So before I ask a question to Srini, so just a few credits in terms of the partners who have supported us. So we have Social Pundit from Chennai supporting us on the social media and the streaming of this program. Then we have California Tamil TV, which is beaming this program live on YouTube Live on their channel. Tamarica from New York, reaching almost every Tamil household in the US, beaming across several Tamil associations as well in the US. And then, of course, we have MFine, the leading health telemedicine platform from India. So these are our media partners, and we have SFO Vanambadi supporting us as well. So thanks all of you for supporting us. So this question is for Srini. So Srini, there is an air of uncertainty in the pandemic times, and there are several job losses in every industry, almost every conceivable industry. So what is your guidance in terms of how this market is headed, and very specifically in the technology space? Spotlight on Srini, please.
This is not the first pandemic, according to the media as well as the leading research-based magazines like The Economist. SARS is one of the even equally the biggest and the most dangerous pandemic Southeast Asia has gone through. So the post-pandemic rebound is bound to be very high. The best example is China itself. After the SARS, I think China has done very well. All the Southeast Asia, or even that Pearl Delta River region, which takes care of 25% of the world's manufacturing activity there happens. So there is a productivity will come back with vengeance all over the world, both in manufacturing as well as the other sectors. Once the VR of there's a bit of safety takes place. But having said that, since your question was about technology professionals will continue to do well because of their adaptability to the work from home, and their a lot of product companies already declared that they don't want to come back to offices till the end of the year, and same case with the services company. At the moment, I think 80% drop is there happened in the hiring, but 20% is still happening. A lot of companies are still talking to those most urgent domains like healthcare, clinical trials, life sciences. There's a lot of fringe of activities happening. Of course, you also know about e-commerce is bound to happen big time, because the real mobility will come down big time, and so e-commerce will have to support the social life in a big way. Then the work from home also requires a different kind of technologies and the skills. And the most in-demand professionals will be healthcare professionals. Doctors, nurses, and healthcare supporters will be in need all over the world. And best of the nations, they found that they have aircraft carriers and the bombers and the jets, but then they don't have enough doctors and nurses. So there's going to be definite boom from nurses from Kerala and doctors from all over India. I do see a lot of, as Dr. Rajkumar said, telemedicine is going to be a huge opportunity for the people. I think nobody wants to go to doctors or hospitals in physical sense, but I think it's if you are reasonably in good health, unless you have very emergency, you don't need to go to doctor at all. You can definitely get everything done through telemedicine. So that opportunity is going to emerge in a big way across the world. That means telemedicine, you are treating patients from India to all over the world. Or some USA to anywhere in the world. And English being the biggest advantage of India, I think there is going to be huge opportunity for all the English-speaking nations. And those, again, the world is divided by the language. Like there's a French world, there's English world, there's a Chinese world. Mm-hmm. So those markets will thrive with the telemedicine too. And I see a big rebound effect will happen once post-September. We can safely predict that this nervousness will be there, but the hiring will happen post-September to onwards, and the rebound effect will be very, very good in almost all countries. We can
Excellent.
experience a very good boom by 2021.
Very
Brilliant.
nice to hear that, Srini.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Can I be a bit nasty and say, I would love it if that happens, Mr. Srinivasan. Very nice. I really enjoyed listening to you. But I'm going to ask you a tough question saying there are supposed to be 4 types of variables. The 4th type of variable is you don't know what you don't know. There are many things that we don't know. So my worry is if I just turned around and asked you, why September? Why not September 2024? Because the curves haven't yet flattened out. So we hope, like you, I hope and pray that by September, even in July, it should become better. But we have no way of learning, and this total unpredictability of the future, what they say, the only thing that's predictable about the future is its unpredictability. So we have to work with hope. I would like to refer all of you to a beautiful article, 2 beautiful articles, one written by Laura Garrett and one by John Stiglitz. John Stiglitz won the Nobel Prize for Economics in 2011. And both these people actually are talking about a different world, a very frightening world in the future, where people will either be very rich or very poor, and with a lot of hatred in between, almost like what Stiglitz calls it, a pre-Leninist, czarist kind of situation will happen. There'll be these people who are shorting the stock markets and who make billions. They'll be betting that the countries fail. They'll be betting that the companies fail, like George Soros did, and they'll be making billions. And everybody else will be on the road. And it's fairly dark doomsday articles, but considering a Nobel Prize winner has written it, and Laura Garrett is a Pulitzer Prize winner. Laura Garrett, John Stiglitz. They're just 2-page articles, but amazing articles out on the net. Please read it. And I hope you're right, Srini, and I hope they're wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that it all happens by September. But in this situation, I agree with Mr. Srinivasan. What can you do? You have to fight and assume the best. So let's hope, go in there with hope.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you, Raj, for that. And like Mr. Srini said earlier, telemedicine, he brought out a very important point, which is happening, all over the world, which is preventive medicine, right? It's like you rightly said, it's not that you have to wait for somebody to get serious and then bring them over, right? Preventive medicine helps a lot in ensuring that lesser and lesser people come into the hospital. And that's where I think telemedicine and digital healthcare is going to play a big part. And as we speak, we are, HDgtl is our digital arm, and we are in fact in consultation with the Israeli company and to provide what is called contactless medicine. If somebody is positive, right? If somebody is positive, all we do is mail something. The mail, it has a small temporary phone. It's just a small phone, right? And with that, in that phone, it's got a camera, it's got an IoT device. The doctor sitting in the hospital, right? They have absolutely no one needs to go. The courier just drops it off at the door. The patient inside takes it, and the doctor, and if they put it on the heart, we get the heart rate, the pulse rate, the temperature, everything, and we see all the signs there, right? And for the 14 days of quarantine, because we're expecting this thing to come in waves, right? For future waves, we learn from this quickly, and we're able to deliver this contactless medicine at home so that we cut what's called the community spread, right? So interesting things are in store, and we strongly believe that's why we invested in digital healthcare, right? Okay. Yeah. So I will bring in Shubha here. Shubha, can you unmute Shubha? Yeah. So we've heard a lot about SFO1 embodies. So I'm going to give you a chance now to talk about them and how you got involved, how did it start, and maybe a few lines from your favorite song.
Sure, thank you. So SFO1 embodies is a group of people that actually got together. We were loosely organized as a group, on WhatsApp, and we were just we knew each other via Smule, and then one person led to another, and we formed like a small group. But at that time, we were just singing online, and then we met Ramesh. I know Ramesh from in a lot of different ways, and then he is culturally active, as most of you know,
right.
A lot of in the Bay Area. So he said, "Hey, why don't you guys come in and sing, on a regular basis?" So that's how SFO1 embodies started. He coined the term SFO1 embodies, if I'm not mistaken. And then we started, I think, 2 years ago, and we've been singing. We've been fortunate enough to be able to sing along the likes of Chitrama and a chorus, but still, it's a great experience for us.
Right, wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
And buddies too. He's our star singer.
Wow. Okay. Right, Anand, please bring in Sri also, and maybe a song from one of them.
Yeah, I think if possible, why don't you all sing together? I think in the interest of time, it might be a good idea if you can just sing in tandem.
Sri, where are you?
Sri and Shubha, go for it.
Okay, we don't have a song planned together, but let's see if we can pull one off.
So I did promise you that I'm going to surprise you and put you on the spot.
This is all about spontaneity, so no problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't see Sri.
Sri, where are you?
Yeah.
He's there.
Oh yeah, he's there. All right.
Sri, should we do Meduvagatan?
I don't know that song. Any Ilayaraja song?
Go ahead.
Tendral vandu ennai thodum.
Okay, can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
தென்றல் வந்து என்னை தொடும் சத்தமின்றி முத்தமிடும் பகலே போய்விடு இரவே பாய்கொடு நிலவே பன்னீரை தூவி போய்விடு.
I'll pick a different தென்றல் வந்து என்னை தொடும் சத்தமின்றி முத்தம் இடும் பகலே போய்விடு இரவாய் கொடு நிலவே பன்னீரை தூவி ஓய்வெடு தென்றல் வந்து என்னை தொடும். You want to start the charanam? தூரோடும் என் நேரம் தோளில் சாய்ந்தால் போதும்.
I don't know the words at all. சுத்தமா ஞாபகம் இல்ல.
தான் தெரிந்த பிறகு திகழ்க்கு நனைந்த பிறகு ஆனம் எதற்கு மார்பில் சாயும் போது.
தென்றல் வந்து என்னை தொடும் சத்தமின்றி முத்தமிடும்.
Brilliant. Excellent. That was great.
Wonderful. Despite lack of preparation, we put you on a spot. You did well. Synchronized. Excellent.
Brilliant. So Raj, I have a question here for you from California, the channel. Right?
Okay.
So there's a question saying, is it advisable?
Yes.
To play while playing badminton, is it advisable to wear masks? From Muni Krishnan from California.
What a nice question. First of all, ask them not to play doubles. Ask them to play singles. That way, there's automatic social distancing.
Okay.
If you're playing singles, you need not wear a mask. There's one guy 10 feet away from you and you're standing here. You need not wear a mask. Number two, there is some data saying that people who are exercising heavily, playing games, running, etc., better that you don't wear a mask because the carbon dioxide level can come down. And if you're more than 50, smoker, or if you've got some asthma disease, by doing this, there's a small possibility of sudden death. So generally, when you exercise, it is better not to wear a mask.
Okay, thank you, Raj, for that. Anand,
going to just can I just add one more thing and say I'm very sorry, but it's time to run for my duty. I have to be there by 8. So
absolutely,
and I've got a small doctor's call in between. So I just want to say, Nuts and Anand, you guys are becoming the new Oprah Winfreys of the new. Fantastic. I enjoyed listening to every single person today. My best wishes to every one of the panelists, and I look forward to seeing all of them again in the near future. Thank you all. Good luck.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Raj. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just a question now for Srijit. So Srijit, you are in the Bay Area. We are used to so many cultural programs by the Indian linguistic associations here. So have you moved digital, and what are your plans around digital?
Sure. So I'll not use the word social distancing anymore. It's definitely physical distancing. So as you know, on a personal level also, uh, like over a weekend, you typically go through at least 3 or 4 different Zoom meetings with groups that you've been part of, like school groups and college groups and ex-colleagues groups and so on and so forth. So that's a lot of global love, as Mr. Srini has written really well. That has happened lately, right? And then that applies to a lot of the events that we have been doing also. So it took a while for us because it's a new thing for most of us, right? I mean, and Manka especially, it's an organization that has been doing physical events for like 35 years, and we haven't really had built in an infrastructure to all of a sudden shift everything to digital. So it took us a while to put it all together, but we are doing a lot of work going forward, starting a couple of weeks ago. The first thing that we did was we did a seminar on stress management, and I wish I had known Brinda. We could have invited you as a panelist also, but we did a seminar on stress management with, last weekend, which was very widely attended. We had a psychologist who joined us from here. And going actually this tomorrow, we're doing a karaoke night again. Had I known about Shubha and Shri, we could have all done that, but we are planning on doing more. So definitely, I will reach out to for your support. So we're doing a karaoke night tomorrow. We have a lot of competitions planned over the summer, because as you know, within a couple of weeks, the kids are going to be out of school, and parents are going to be sitting around and not knowing what to do with them anymore, right? I mean, it's like, what do I do next is going to be the most frequently asked questions at most homes here. So as an answer to that, there are things that we are doing. We are pretty much like, we're doing like a series of events, from kids competition, singing, dancing, speech, art, craft, all of those, by sort of arranging it one after the other, or every other week, or every week if possible. So those are things that we have planned over the summer. We did a very successful event for Kashra Gachri. So I personally have started all of a sudden taking interest in gardening and farming in the backyard, and I'm sure most people would find time for things like that. And if you can put that as a competition, which we did last year, but we were able to go and see these places physically, which I doubt if we could this year. So we'll probably resort to having videos taken and then post that on Facebook and things. So we're going to announce all of these. So in short, yes, we are doing a lot of these activities that we were doing physically before. But then again, Onam is a biggest event, which we usually attract about 2,000 plus people and have a Onam feast and cultural programs on stage. I don't know how we can do a feast digitally, but at least we'll come up with something interesting, I'm sure. But a lot of these events that we did for kids are now going digital, and it's not just us. We are also partnering with other organizations, like this Bay Malayali Arts and Sports Club, which is doing an Antakshari competition. The final happens to be today, so we are supporting that. So a lot of ideas. And one of the things is, it's not restricted to an area anymore, right? I mean, so once you go digital, the world is your forum. Like this event, right? We have people from all over the world, so it doesn't have to be regional anymore. So it's expanded.
Excellent, Srijit. Thanks for that. And just on a note that you just talked about, so HDgtl and Lifeline, we are together. So we are offering a lot of yoga programs through our portal, My Indian Yoga. And over the next week or so, that's going to be free. And Brinda is going to be aired on that program as well. So I'm sure folks would love to take a look.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we do have a pretty decent sized audience here. So, anything in terms of what messages that we can convey, people would definitely benefit. So I would definitely love to be part of that.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Srijit. Wonderful. That was great hearing from you. And I agree with you. One of the biggest upsides of the lockdown itself has been meeting new people online, because every show we have had, we've met people, made new friends, people connected there. So it's great to do that. One of the, probably destiny, but good, it still happened. So quickly, we are actually crossed the time, but I would like to bring in, there's a question for Mr. Raghuchandran. Can I just have him? Sir, can you unmute? Mr. Raghu?
Spotlight on Raghuchandran Nair, please.
I think he is muted still.
Yeah.
Anand, would you like to take a question before we get him on?
Yeah, sure. No problem. So this is for Parimal.
Okay.
So what is what is your advice to the doctors in various parts of the world from the ICU perspective, in terms of what you should do right and what you should not do? So do you have any learnings that you can share with the doctors of the other regions from the US?
Okay, I think Dr. Parimal, you're also muted. Yeah. Amit, can you unmute everyone? Everyone seems to be muted.
Yeah, Parimal?
Hey.
Yeah, you're on mute.
No, I think Amit, all are muted, Amit.
Unmute, please.
But Anand, I can hear you. I don't know why this is happening. Hello? Okay, I think
he's all right.
I got it.
You got
yes,
it? Okay.
The host had muted, so sorry. So the question was, what would I like other physicians across the world to know? Is that correct?
Yes, from your experience in the front line. Yeah.
So the most important thing is that take things as they come at the face value. What that means is that be realistic. The healthcare workers across the world, they have to know that it is no longer time to ask if you will see a patient with COVID or COVID-related symptoms or COVID-like symptoms or the aftermath of COVID. It is only when. All of us are going to see this patient. So stop asking the question, if it is, shift gears to when will I see this patient? So you have to be prepared. A lot of articles out, so keep yourself updated. Go to one source that might give you all the answers with regards to the newer technologies, newer development, newer medications. On NPR this morning when I was driving back home, I heard that Kashmir has been in lockdown since like almost August last year. And so they have very poor internet. And so they are not able to download all the new articles. So you guys are all, technologically savvy people. So I do not know how you can help the physicians in such places where they don't have access to internet or they have very poor internet. How can we get this information out? If you guys can arrange for that, I will definitely be more than happy to talk to them via Zoom and let them know what we are doing here. Also, I would like to tell everybody that we do have to respect the virus. This virus is crazy. It has, as I said earlier, it does not follow any boundaries. So respect the virus because it is teaching us a lot of things. Don't be afraid of it. Don't let the respect be just out of fear. Respect the virus because it is teaching us a lot of new things. It has exposed us to a lot of social differences, a lot of new developments, a lot of telemedicine that we have been talking about. So good things have come out of this. And as I had said earlier, be aware of the moral grief. Moral grief by way of doing something and by a way of not doing something. By way of doing something would be that when I don't have enough ventilators, I have to consciously decide who to give these medications. When I don't have enough PPE, I have to decide how resourceful I have to be and how many times I can use the same PPE.
Right.
Versus when it comes to inaction, it is the loved ones. We don't allow them in the hospital. Once the patient comes to the hospital, they are ours. The family is not allowed since March. So they also have, so that is called an inactivity, that they are inactive. They cannot do except feel hopeless and helpless. But I just want them to know that, we are all in this together. We will all beat this and we'll get it through. So the bottom line for the healthcare workers is that we can all experience moral injury because we are not able to act in the ways that we have, that our core values are. But we have to think outside the box. And as we'll be more than happy to help the physicians around the world with all the experiences we have had. We have learned in California a lot from our peers in New York and New Jersey. Unfortunately, they have been hit very hard. So somebody's lost, somebody's gained, so we can help other people.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, Natesh, we are 10 minutes over time.
Yes,
Maybe another 5 minutes, we should be done.
Yeah, in 5 minutes we'll close down. I have a question here for Srini, because I'm not able to get Mr. Raghuchandran. He's still muted. So Srini, and after that we can wind up with a song, and I'll leave that to you, right? For all the job seekers, there seems to be a feeling that going forward, the CVs cannot be the same, right? There's got to be a difference in making the CVs. Can you advise us on what people should do?
Yeah, if you're asking, the life skills are going to be different. We all know that. Okay, if you go in the CV, you better actually come out like you are a very fitness freak and you have better health standards. You go and walk into a disc company and if you cough, you are rejected automatically. And it was not the case earlier. So people are expected to maintain higher physical health standards, and I think that is definitely a good life skill. Then the other things like the pandemic, as we discussed, it brought the world closer. Any business every business is going to become digital now. Like for example, when I tried to publish the book, I didn't look at India. I looked at the world, and then it became very easy because of the Kindle. Then the other key skill is that the emotional quotient. How did you deal with yourself, with your family, with your teams? Are you emotionally balanced? So the future jobs, they at least in the leadership levels, they will look at figure out a way how emotionally strong you are. So EQ is going to be the definite buzzword for the skill. The last is the mindfulness. I think there are ways to, work from home also test your ability to be mindful. Okay, are you really mindful and all that? Lastly, I think ability to have some humor in your communications might help you. That's what I felt.
Fantastic. There you go. There you go.
Thank you. Over to you, Anand. Over to you.
So Sri and Shubha. So one last song from each of you. A few lines, please, before
we give the vote of thanks
and sign off. Yeah, please. Over to you, Sri and Shubha, one after the other. Spotlight, please.
They're not muted. They're
both of you are muted, Sri.
Yeah.
Amit, there is some.
Yeah, I think I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, now you're okay.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm a big Isainani fan, so I'll go with one more Ilayaraja song.
Great.
That I like from the movie Chembarti. தென்றல் தேரில் நான் தான் போகும் நேரம் பார்த்து தேவர் கூட்டம் பூத்துவி பாடும் நல்ல வாழ்த்து அர்த்த ஜாமம் நான் சோடும் ஆடை அங்கம் நீயாகும் அங்கம் யாவும் நீ மூட ஆசை தந்த நோய் போதும் நினைத்தால் இது போலாகாததேது அனைத்தால் உரைத்தான் நீங்காது பூமாது நெடுநாள் திருத்தோள் எங்கும் நீ கொஞ்ச அன்பே நீயே அழகினமுதே அன்பே நீயே அழகினமுதே நிலாக்காயும் நேரம் சரணம் உலா போக நீயும் வரணும்.
Excellent. Kindling old memories. Thank you, Sri. Over to you, Shubha.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to sing a song from Kocharayan, which is an A.R. Rahman musical. மெதுவாகத்தான் என்னை ஏற்கிறாய் பழிவாங்கவா மெதுவாகத்தான் என்னை ஏற்கிறாய் பழிவாங்கவா बोलो या ना अब ये बोलो बोले दिल की मैं तेरी हो लूं बस मेरा 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 हाल है दिलचस्पियाँ है आपको मुझको हुई அன்னம் மடவண்ணம் மழகை சிந்தும் அரவிந்தம் மஞ்சம் எழுதா மன்மதம் இவள் அழகு எட்டும் திசையட்டும் தினம் கட்டும் பரிவட்டம் இன்னும் சொல்ல மொழி இல்லையே கொடி வேண்டுமா குடை வேண்டுமா உன்மார் போலையாவும் சுகம் நகுமா படை வேண்டுமா பகை வேண்டுமா உன்னை போல வீழ்த்த ஆளேது மெதுவாகத்தான் Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Over to you, Natesh. I think
Right.
Raghu is on the line. There was a question for him. You want to just ask and complete? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Finally, I can get them. Yes. So the lot of downturn in the economy, and you've been the head of various institutions. So there's a question about what is the future, and is there any suggestion about the kind of sectors they should go into for the job seekers?
Can I have the question again?
Yes, there is a lot of economic downturn happening because of the COVID. So is there any suggestion from you as to what sectors they can choose going forward? For instance, is it real estate, IT, any particular suggestions from your side?
You see, what we need to know is that, Kerala has got, like I told you earlier, there are only 4 or 5 sectors or 6 sectors Kerala can survive.
Okay.
What we have to do is we have to reorient ourselves, because today the whole focus should be on livelihood. We have been talking about flattening the curve of the COVID.
Right.
But we should not be in a situation where we flatten and dip our economic growth. The economic growth will go up. So we have to revive that. So for that, we require cash flows. And that is what the government of India is trying, the RBI is trying, everybody is trying. But the point is that, it is going to take time for this money to trickle down to the lowest bottom. Unless there is money in people's hand, demand will not come. So you have to get money so that demand is created. So this is something which I think they are already trying. But in Kerala, as you know, we all have to really understand that in Kerala, we must have a situation that we must know how to cut costs. Because Kerala, if you look at the Kerala budget and economy, it is definitely not matching. And in fact, most states are doing better, but Kerala somehow does not do better, basically because we have a deficit economy, and which is purely dependent. Because we are having 70% of the Kerala revenue is going into salaries, pensions, and other. If you take interest, it will go up to 90%, which means you've got only 10% to survive. So I think Kerala government also need to start trimming. It's high time that productivity is brought in from the government employee side. There's no point in saying that everybody cuts salaries and everybody takes a haircut, and except the government salaries, they don't take a haircut. It's not right. So I think this is one area where we have to keep on going. Plus, I think we have to become employable. And I think this is something, because Kerala, every time we boast about having Kerala as a highly literate state. But I always say that Kerala is literate, but it's not educated. Kerala is everybody is educated, but unemployable. So we have to bring unemployability into the place. In fact, Kerala should be the employment exchange of the world. And we should be the place where people should sort people from here saying, okay, we want somebody like this. Yes, go to Kerala, you get it. But that should be the thing. And this is something which I think we all have to think. And I think government also has started thinking those lines. And I'm quite sure that stakeholder consultations have to start coming in. So all this while, government always thinks that they believe what they do is right. Especially in India, you find that they rarely talk to the private sector, because they think private sectors are untouchables. So this is something which we have to change, and government need to talk to the stakeholders and then bring in ideas. And even for employees to sustain today, even our companies also, cost cutting is coming in. We are trying to trim everywhere possible and make sure that things are within control. So this is one area I think government needs to skill up their activity, skill up every sphere of activity, not only this, so that the state as a whole is a consumer state, and we must become a self-reliant state. If you're going to be a consumer state, we will not be able to survive for long. And now I think we are talking about trying to make agriculture available, start producing our own agriculture producers and all that. But this is something which we could have done earlier. But now COVID has opened the eyes of everybody. Everybody has started realizing that if the state is going to be locked up and you are kept off and you're an island by yourself and you don't have anything to survive, it's just like Malaysia cutting off Singapore. And then suddenly Singapore was having only a water line. And Lee Kuan Yew brought it back to life. And in fact, it did better than Malaysia in a lot of areas. So similarly, probably Kerala has to open up like that and probably look like what we have to do, like what Singapore has done. We have to think. We got the capacity. We got the people, the intelligent people. We got our Keralites all over the place, all over the world, who are doing immensely well. Their knowledge is very good. We need to tap that, and probably bring back life into the state. Mindset of the people of Kerala has to change. That is one thing which I have to say. We cannot have a mindset with inflated egos. These egos have to go, and we have to be back to normal. And like I'm basically a guy who's born and brought up in Malaysia, and did my schooling there. So I'm saying that we have to think differently. And this mental blocks, what we have to go. If Kerala has, because a lot of idle land is lying. We have to do farming. We have to do concessions have to be done by government. There need not be any ego about it. And make available cash flows, and try. If we don't have money here for the state, what the state can do probably is to try to bring down the ease of doing business to be brought down to the real literally sense, and make sure that you leave it to the business people to do business, so that employment is generated, money comes to the government. This is what I have to say.
Thank you so much for that enlightenment of the economic sector in Kerala. With this, Anant, I think if you don't have anything else, you can start the thanks.
Yeah, so I think it's been a wonderful event with lots of people participating, lots of questions, lots of eminent people on the panel here who have been supporting us. So thanks everyone for joining us today. And we look forward to facing off with you very soon in another signature program that will be even more interesting. So please do stay tuned to Lifeline HDgtl and all our partners for the next events. So it's me and Natesh signing off from this event for now. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening wherever you are.
Thank you to all our panelists. Thank you, Mr. Ramesh. I can see him there. Thank you so much. Thank you for all.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Yeah, the Facebook Lives.
Awesome program. Thank you all.